Hi there, friends. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I am coming to you live for just a second to talk to you about your liver. So, I want to talk to you about your liver because I think that it's one of the organs that sometimes we miss because we have all these symptoms and we don't think about how important the liver is. And one of the things that I teach my clients on a regular basis is to love their liver. You know, the liver, some people call it the grandfather organ, and it's responsible for drainage. And a lot of times we are living a lifestyle where we have nutritional choices that go into play when it comes to our liver, and our liver goes under a lot of stress. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about some of the signs that you may be experiencing if you have a congested liver. So the more toxins that we're exposed to on a regular basis, the harder it is for us to remove them. And if the liver starts to struggle, then it's really not going to be able to keep up with the demand for detoxification, which is necessary for a healthy body. And you may start to feel some of the side effects from it. So I want to talk to you about 10 clues. So stick with me. There are 10. I know that's a lot to do on a live. I'm going to try to push through these really quickly. But I know that I want you to hear these because it's very important for you to know some of the signs and symptoms that you may be experiencing could be more to do with your liver than your gut or your hormones. And I want to show you here that they're all really kind of connected. So I'm going to talk to you and basically just share with you the clues that you have a congested liver. Number one is poor digestion. So one of the things that the liver is responsible for is producing bile. So bile is necessary for digestion and it helps the body break down fats. You know, you hear about those things, vitamins A, D, E, and K. And when the body isn't producing enough bile or bile salts, then you're not going to be able to break down your fat. I'm going to go into this a little bit more when I talk about the gallbladder, but you want to make sure that you're able to digest these fats because that is where you're getting your nutrients from, those fat-soluble vitamins. If you have poor digestion, you don't have clean processes in your bile, either making it or using it, then you're not going to be able to digest those fat-soluble vitamins and you're going to end up sick in the long run and malnourished. So number two is hormone imbalance. So that's another clue that you have a liver issue. So the liver actually is really important for getting rid of the extra hormones that our body doesn't need at that specific time. So when there's a buildup of these hormones in the body, then listen to some of these symptoms you can get. Things like high blood pressure, bloating, weight gain, fatigue, sleep problems, low libido, low immune function, and even things like craving junk food. And the thing is you would never attribute these to number one, hormones, or number two, your liver, right? You just think, oh, well, I have these problems, and really they're just symptoms of a stressed out liver. So number three, let's talk about weight gain a little bit. I did mention that earlier when we were talking about hormones, but we often experience weight gain and you can't keep it off if the liver is stressed and it can't get rid of toxins. So it allows those toxins to build up in the body, and the body actually holds on to fat as a protective mechanism if it doesn't feel safe to release those toxins. So, and then you have to think about things like blood sugar imbalance and hormones. They're all interconnected when we're talking about weight gain. Number four is skin problems. So if you have toxins building up in your system and your liver isn't able to process those, then your skin is actually one of those detox pathways. And what happens is it gets clogged up and you're going to start getting things like acne, rosacea, rashes, psoriasis, dermatitis. A lot of people come to me with eczema and they say, what can I put on my eczema? The thing is eczema is not the problem. It's your liver that's the problem. And these skin issues are showing up because of congested liver. Number five is fatigue. So a lot of people are feeling super, super drained and fatigued. You feel like you can't get enough sleep. You feel like you're not able to function properly during the day because you're so tired, especially after meals. And the problem is your liver is the issue when it comes to fatigue. So, and all the caffeine in the world is not going to help that if you have a congested liver. Number 6 is bad breath or a white coating on your tongue. So if you stick out your tongue and you look at it and you have a white coating, then that's going to share with you the state of your liver, and it could actually be sluggish. So that white coating is what leads to the bad breath many times, and we can scrape it off and things like that, but it's just going to come back, and it's a sign that you're not digesting your food well. It also shows things like candida or other bacteria can be overgrowing in your gut. And since the liver and the gut and the mouth, they're all kind of connected, and they all play a role in digestion. When the liver becomes sluggish, it's kind of one pathway, and it's going to contribute to those symptoms as well. So number 7 is chemical sensitivities. Now, when we're talking about things like I can't stand certain perfumes, or cleaning products give me a headache or make me anxious or even irritable, and maybe you feel like you're a lightweight when you're drinking alcohol, right? If you answer yes to any of these, then you probably have what's known as chemical sensitivity. And oftentimes those are due to the fact that you have too many toxins on board and your liver cannot detox. So those things are just causing an overload and creating symptoms in your body. Number 8 is cravings. So if you're having food cravings, especially if you're having sweet cravings, cravings for highly processed carbohydrates, like whatever is in a bag or a box, you want it, those types of feelings, it can be caused by hormone and blood sugar imbalance, and they are signs that the liver is not working properly. So number 9, I think we're on number 9, gallbladder problems. I talked about the gallbladder a little bit earlier, and I'll just say that the gallbladder and the liver are connected. Now, the liver produces bile, and then bile salts are what's necessary to break down the fats. Remember that from the very beginning of the life. Now, the bile is stored in the gallbladder, and it stays there until it's needed for your next meal. And if there's not enough bile being produced, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for your body to break down those fats. So when the gallbladder isn't functioning, or like our day and age, when you may not even have a gallbladder, because that is the case for a lot of people, then you might experience things like nausea, indigestion, abdominal bloating. And really what that means is that you have an intolerance to fatty foods because your body isn't producing enough bile. So you want to get the liver working so that you can produce bile, so that the gallbladder stores it appropriately, so it's utilized whenever you're trying to break down those foods. Again, remember from point number 1, if you're not breaking down those foods appropriately and you're not digesting those fats, then guess what happens next? You get malnourished. When you get malnourished, then that's a whole nother ball game. You're not going to feel like doing really anything because your body needs vitamins and minerals to operate. Okay, enough about number 9. Let's move on to number 10, the very last one. It is pain in the upper right portion of your abdomen. So if you know where your liver sits, it kind of sits like at a diagonal, like right here under your rib cage. You can typically feel it like poking right outside the rib cage. Now, sometimes it's going to be more inflamed because it's congested. And when you get a lot of inflammation, you get a lot of pain. So if you have a lot of pain on this right side, on this upper quadrant of your abdomen, then it usually suggests that you have a large liver, or that your liver is kind of enlarged. Now, here's the thing. If you don't resolve some of these issues, then a lot of times you can get a diagnosis of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, what this means is that you just have a compromised liver. You probably need to work on some detox. The truth is that it's not only true that alcoholics get liver disease. Now we're seeing a lot of people get liver disease just simply because the liver is so congested. Remember the toxic environment that we live in. I think I've probably talked about this, and I talk about it a lot. So if you haven't heard me say, we live in a very toxic environment. Every single day we're exposed to things, and more toxins are being dumped into our environment every single day. And if we're not working to clean up our physical body from what we're absorbing just from the world around us, then we're not doing ourselves any favors. I will say that I think detoxification is like number 1 on my list. If I have to say anything when it comes to restoring a person's health, I see the needle moved more and more with proper detoxification. Now, this is not something that I can throw out there and just say, follow this protocol, this protocol, this protocol. It's not one size fits all to rebalance the liver and the rest of the body. But I did want to share these tips with you today so that it will at least clue you into the fact that, hey, I'm not getting well, and this is why I may not be getting well, just so you could maybe connect the dots and put together some of those puzzle pieces that you're not going crazy, but sometimes food and exercise are just not enough to help you get to the root of your disease. Remember, getting to the root of your illness is key when it comes to your health. So that's all I have for you today. I hope that you guys have an amazing day, and leave me comments, questions if you have any of those, and I'll be happy to follow back up. Talk to you guys soon.